morning from the dojo. It's Magoo. Congratulations to the Knicks. Let's go Knicks. But let me be my facetious, sarcastic self today, and just go enjoy it while it lasts, because Mike Brown is going to get fired. And people say, Mike, you're being such a goof today. He's loved. He's a great coach. Why is he going to get fired? Because with the Knicks and the Rangers, it has nothing to do with being a great coach or winning. That's the problem. He made a faux pas last night. No one but me caught, or maybe one other person caught it. If that person caught it, Mike Brown's going to be in someone's office next week. And I'll tell you what it is. It's that he mentioned during if you go back and watch, and I could link to it, the ceremony after the game in Cleveland last night, where they were giving out the trophies. Everyone was cheering, bring up Mike Brown, bring up Mike Brown. And he comes up and he just was excited, and he's talking about how good things are. And he mentions about the roster being built by the Dolans and I think the GM or president of operations, whoever it is. He just mentioned the word Dolan. And I went, uh-oh. Don't ever mention the Dolans in roster creation. The Dolans have nothing to do with sports operations, nothing to do with players, salaries, nothing. Only GMs and presidents of operations and that stuff deal with rosters. The Dolans don't exist on that front. But yet they have been tightly in control of that roster, more than George Steinbrenner with the Yankees, forever. And it's one of the reasons why I'm going to say this in a polite way without being angry or facetious, and say why the Rangers and Knicks don't win much more than they do, despite all the money and the fame and the power and the iconicness and the garden, the arena itself, and the ownership. It's because, I'm going to use a crazy analogy here. This is why those teams winning doesn't come first for the Knicks and the Rangers. There's a tribe called the Wallapai, the Hualapai, Wallapai Highland tribe, Native American tribe out near Grand Canyon. And they're in that Grand Canyon, they're in the west part of the Grand Canyon towards, Nevada, towards Nevada and Vegas, and go in that direction. So the Grand Canyon East is more the one we all go to, the famous one. You go up through Flagstaff. The west rim of the Grand Canyon, you come in from Hoover Dam, and there's other ways, and it's not as many scenic spots for tourists, but there's a tribe there called the Wallapais, and they own all that. They run all of that land. Their reservation runs along the west rim of the canyon. And they made a business decision at some point saying, we can't out-casino any of these other tribes. No one's going to help us. We're already past Vegas. We're past Laughlin. They're already making gambling legal everywhere else. There's no point. We want to be the richest tribe, the most successful business tribe without a casino. What do? And they had the land, and they had the Grand Canyon. So what they did was they basically fenced off all access to the west rim of the Grand Canyon and used their space to create a helicopter landing pad, restaurant, tourist trap stuff, souvenirs, walks along the rim, guided tours, all of that. And they became the place that Vegas helicopter trips and tours would come to, because everything else is BLM land. You can't just land helicopters wherever you want around the Grand Canyon. It's all Bureau of Land Management land. It's all protected land, except for what the tribes, the Indians, Native Americans, I'm old enough to say Indians, Cowboys and Indians, but anyway, the Native American tribes, that's their possession. They can do what they want to do with it. So whether it's a casino or not, these guys decided to turn it into this massive tourist sort of destination for Vegas travelers and, Route 66 people. And they have become very, very successful. So that you've probably heard about that walkway, the glass walkway that goes out over the canyon and comes back. You walk, you can see down and have a heart attack. They built that. That's their thing in their little reservation. You can walk from there. Your bus drops you off. You go on that thing. You get your lunch. You go and do this and that. You buy some nice sterling silver with turquoise jewelry, and that's your nice afternoon. So their job was to become the richest, most successful tribe without a casino. Okay, the Knicks and Rangers and the Dolans' job, it's not to become champions. That's not the business plan. The business plan, like the Indians, is not to, or like the Wallapai, was not to have the best casino, not to win, not to make the most money there. It was to return value to shareholders. That's the Dolan's job with the New York Rangers and MSG Corporation and all that, is to return value to shareholders. And he's amazing at it. The Rangers keep getting bigger and better. The Garden's always worth more and more money, but yet the teams don't win. It doesn't matter that they win or lose to increase that value, because that's not the business plan. The business plan, the teams are just like medieval like what do they call it? The medieval times show. It's just a running event. It's a running thing. It's monster trucks. It's whatever. Now we get caught up in it. I have since I'm a little kid. It's the Rangers. It's the Knicks. But the Dolans stay very tight on who gets picked and on the money that's spent. And that's why we have so many player frustrations. That's why we always hate our GMs. That's why we always hate our team presidents. That's why the ones that are good either don't get hired like Messier or leave and will never come back like John Davidson. That's why we have this revolving door of coaches who come and go who we've already had before, because they have to understand what they're getting into or they don't want to do it. Tough guys like, what was his name, Gerard we had for a year. I forget his name of the year, the Frenchy dude who turned us into a gritty team again. He couldn't last a year or two with that. It just wasn't, it's not how most teams operate. They usually give the GM a lot of leverage to build a team. This is not that. The GMs. So when I see the blue shirt banter is just ripping, what's his name, Drury all the time. And I'm like, it's not Drury's call. He just goes out, he makes the play, that they create back in the office. He may bring a bunch of research in and say, hey, our scouts have looked at this and this, we're going to take these guys. But there's people involved in that who are not hockey people. Big time people in it who are not hockey people. And most hockey teams don't do that. Most basketball teams don't have a lot of non-basketball people in charge. Just one guy with the checkbook. If you watch the Moneyball, they would call him and say, hey, Steve, man, come on, I got to get this player. If you don't buy him, I'm buying him. And when I sell him, I'm going to keep the money. And the owner went, okay, I'll give you the money. That's what owners should be doing. That's not how the Dolans run a business. That's not how Dallas, what's his name, Jerry Jones runs a business. It's not how he does it. Not how Mark Cuban runs it. They want to win. Mark Cuban wants to win. He doesn't care. He doesn't care if he loses money if he wins. The Dolans don't care about winning. They just want to make money. And they've discovered a way to make money even when they lose. Just like the Wallapai tribe. They're going to make money even if no one gambles. Because people will still travel. They're going to tourist. They want to see the Grand Canyon. They want to be outside. It's a spectacle that'll never go away. Vegas comes and goes. Wallapai don't have to give free buffets. They don't have to, hand out comps or do anything. They have a legitimate business. Their business doesn't revolve around gambling. And the same thing, the Knicks and Rangers have a great business, but the business doesn't really run around hockey and basketball. It runs around an arena, an event space, restaurants, what you call it? Concessions, all kinds of stuff. New York State real estate, New York City real estate, the battles that they go through with the renovations of Penn Station. How many times has the Garden already been renovated? It's going to get it again. Just got a $1 billion renovation. They're always renovating. It's like a hotel. It's like an airport. It's always being renovated because it's always being used for something. It's not particular to the Knicks or Rangers. And so if the Knicks and Rangers never win, but the stock value of MSG Corp goes up, then the Dolans are successful. Whereas to you and me paying tickets, it's like, no, the business model is supposed to be the team, right? That's all I care about. Oh, but people don't understand, to the Dolans, Panarin is just a piece on a board. It doesn't matter to them, So, I'm sure they like winning, but there's probably headaches coming from winning. And now I'm just saying, watch that clip where Mike Brown credited the Dolans for roster moves. And I'm like, oh no, that's unsaid. You never say that. Don't say. He's going to get such a slap on the wrist. I promise. And I think it's funny. And I wish I could talk to my uncle, rest in peace, Stan Isaacs, who was a real insider and a big famous sports writer in New York, because he had a lot of the inside skinny on this stuff. And if I said stuff like this to him, he would get all nasty and cynical and go, that's not true, and blah, blah, blah. But I think now deep down, he would, just like the Democrats being inept, he would agree with me finally and go, okay, maybe there's something to it. I don't know. Probably not. But again, Knicks and Rangers fans, when you see idiotic roster moves that tick you off and just say, why would my GM do something so bizarre and so detrimental? You know where it's coming from. It's coming from the business executives who don't care a whole lot. They just want to put a competitive team out there so that we fill those suites and fill those seats and not have hassles from season ticket holders. And this year, we had some hassles, so we'll see what happens next year. It's pretty funny that the Rangers were so bad and the Knicks were so good, but it's also where the attention has gone. And so we'll see. I don't know. I could be 100% wrong. This is just my opinion. But I just believe truly that, many teams, the GM and the front office are just trying to win. I don't think the Rangers and Knicks are ever really just trying to win anymore. I think they're trying to put on They're trying to do a lot of things and still culminate with a win because that's even more money and even more seats. That's the ultimate success, but it's not the business model. Understand? It's an ultimate success, but it's not the business model. The Wallapai guys could have made a ton of money from that and actually put up a casino, and maybe the casino would have been done well. They're just adding a casino, but the casino is not the business model. The business model is the tourist trap, the tourism, service trap. That's the business. And I think the Rangers and Knicks are the same way. The tourist trap is the iconic stadium, the iconic arena, the iconic teams, the generational woe of losing teams for millions, for all the years. Knicks have sucked, the Rangers sucked my whole life, and I followed them. My grandfather used to sit in the kitchen eating, crackers and drinking tea, eating sociables and screaming at these teams, The Mets have been a complete nightmare most of my life. This is big market stuff because, again, if you're making money, losing isn't as bad. That's just the way it works. And so the Rangers and Knicks have sort of perfected that. So take this winning season while you can. This team won't last more than 2 or 3 years before it's obliterated and pulled apart in 1,000 directions. I promise you. This will never be a dynasty, the Knicks. These guys won't last. The Dolans won't allow it. New York teams are never going to be dynasties. I mean, the two city teams. It just won't happen because it's like I told you, it's not the business model. The business model will be to how do we get rid of a couple of these guys, replace them cheaply or for around the same, and get the similar or same result regardless. Not about chemistry, not about winning again, not about success. It's just about the stock value. And right now, Brunson brings great value to the stock. The minute he doesn't matter if they're winning championships or not. The minute they don't bring great value to the shareholder for the Dolans, he'll find a way, or they'll find a way to tweak it into something else. And everybody will say, why did the GM do something so stupid? And the GM won't say a dang word, and the coach won't say a word, and no one will say a word. But Mike Brown accidentally said the word last night, and I'm wondering what repercussions there may be. I hope there's none, because he said great things, and he's doing an amazing job. And I saw his pregame speech, and it was like so Ted Lasso-esque. I loved it. It was really, really good. It was just about, he actually played some harsh shit with them. He showed them losing to Indiana last year, and how they looked, the look on their faces, and how dejected and broken they were. And he's like, remember that feeling? Yeah, don't do that again. And then they went out won by 40 points or so. That's good coaching. All right, better than good coaching, good ownership. They don't always have the same goal in mind or the same path to get there, but they're symbiotic and they got to live. And the Rangers and Knicks really have that more than most teams that I've ever seen in my life, and I've lived in a lot of places. So anyway, peace out. Congratulations, Nick, today. Hopefully the Rangers, maybe can win 12 games next year. I doubt it. Anyway, peace out. Nobody told you I love you today. I do. Yay, Knicks.